But Jordan Kapler asking here, if you could break one stat at Ohio State, what would it be?
Most NIL money.
Kevin took it personally. Yes,
that would be a good one.
That.
Oh man,
I'm looking at the OSU record book right now, and Trey Sermon's 271 yards rushing in one half is pretty good in the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern. That's ridiculous. Maybe the record that will never be broken is the number of punts in a game by Les Horvath with 21 in the Snow Bowl, or Vic Janowitz rather. So so I would that would be a record that will never be broken. So if you want to break one that's never going to be broken, that would be one. The record is 21, and the second most is 11, to give you an idea of how much further. So that's one. Here's an interesting one. The tackles for loss in a game, the record is 5, and it's held by guys like Chase Young and Ryan Shazier and John Simon. And so if you could get 6 and be one ahead of those guys, Andy Katzenmoyer on that list as well, that would be a pretty lofty crew.
Yeah, I think the rushing award or record that Archie set is going to be a hard one, because no one's going to play more than 3 years. And it's just impossible to take that kind of beating at this level of college football right now, with the physicality that we saw last year with Henderson and Williams. Neither of them could play more than one back-to-back game. I mean, it was like they'd come back for a game and miss the next one. So, it's almost impossible to expect somebody to do what he did. And JT Barrett put up some records that I think, under the same premise, are going to be difficult to break, with touchdowns responsible for, probably passing touchdowns, and so on, just because no one's going to start more than 2 years at Ohio State, before they head off to the NFL. So, you'd have to be a true freshman, sophomore, and junior starter to threaten any of that. You'd have to be extremely prolific to do what he did in 3.5 years as the starter. So, yeah, it's those are some records that are going to be tough. I think the receiving records that Jackson Smith the Jigba set in the Rose Bowl are going to be difficult unless they can get an opponent to agree to put offensive players back out there on defense like Utah did for them in the Rose Bowl. So, but I digress.
I think the 31 consecutive 100-yard rushing games by Archie, while technically, mathematically, that could be done with a 3-year player, I don't ever expect that to be broken. Ezekiel Elliott is second on that list with 15, just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone at the running back position is going to get enough reps to get 25 rushing touchdowns to match Peach Johnson. That's difficult to see.
And it was a specialty position, too, getting them all from the 3-yard line. It wasn't like he was taking a handoff from the 30 and going in.
Although it surprises me, or it did at one point, to see that he ran for nearly as many yards that, Archie was around 1,500, and Pete Johnson eclipsed 1,000 that season. I don't know who should have won the Heisman Trophy there.
Pete Johnson, 2,308 yards, career rushing yards.